Alright guys, so this is going to be an advanced guide on your progression. I've taught you guys everything, or most things, about how to grow your strength. I'm going to go over them again in terms of what you should be upgrading, but there's going to be a lot more since a lot of you guys are just hitting level 37 layers or higher now. Alright, so the first thing that you should be looking for stats wise is to upgrade your gears, your chips, your modules, and your cubes. Now obviously depending on what unit you're specializing on, you'll upgrade your gear equipment differently. For me, I'm a shooter, so these these four are my most important ones. As you can see, I'm a shooter main. You can just tell who's, you know, what a person specializes in when you look into their player info. You gotta make sure everything's up to date here, okay? Now, your chips, your gears, and everything can look as good as mine, but maybe you're not hitting that high of a layer. It's maybe because you didn't catch up in other aspects of the game. So I've taught you guys about this already, so I'm just gonna skip this part. Alright, so the main thing that you guys should look for, or the other major aspect of troop stats, is your heroes. You gotta make sure your main troop formation heroes are good. This is the reason why right here. Alright, so if you're at my phase, or you're at the phase where you're hitting level 35 layers or higher, even level 33 layers or higher, I would recommend just taking a look at your main troop formation and try to see if you can upgrade anything. Now for me, I'm a shooter. Let's say I was hitting like a level 34 layer. Back then I only had these at like +4 Phoenix, +5 a frame, +4 Requiem. Then I would try to get them to +5, +6, and you know, and so on. You want to constantly keep track of all your main formation heroes. Now, I just want to tell you that when you upgrade your heroes, I'll just show you how just important it is. Now, if you went from +4 to +5, you get an initial, I believe that's a 16% upgrade in power. And if you red star that hero at +5, you get a whole nearly 40% in power. So this kind of goes to show you that you should really just try your best to just upgrade your heroes the same way you would upgrade your gears, because they do give the same amount of damage boosts and power. So don't try to like skimp on these. These are actually really important. And then the other important aspect of your power in the category of heroes is economy heroes. Now, you want to make sure you catch these up. They're really important because, one, they're passive. They work as soon as you level them up and unlock their troop skills here. They work as soon as they're leveled up. They don't have to be in any type of formation for them to work. And second, they give troop size. Some of them give troop size, like Leia, Eve, Scarlet, Lady M, Ironclaw. You can see I leveled them up the most, mainly because they give troop size. Troop size is one of the most important factors to your growth. This is one of the things you want to keep track of too. I understand some people can't spend money and get Ironclaw to +5. It's fine. I'm not encouraging you to get him to +5. I'm not saying you should spend and get him there. They're not like that important for your power. In terms of like, if you're spending, yeah, get him to +5 if you try. But if you're not, don't. It's fine, because you can get Leia to +5 easily for free if you hoard correctly, if you save up your materials correctly. Lady M is obtainable as hell too. It's all about understanding the events themselves, but that's for another video. For now, I'm just talking about how important they are. But just do keep in mind, troop size is as important as the attack stat, which is it's the ATK stat. It's the one that gives your units damage. So for example, a frame right here, troop skill, shooter attack, see 250% increase in damage. So it's as troop size is indeed as important. I would argue in some occasions even more important. So that's why you want to keep track, like not keep track, but keep up your heroes alongside with your gear. You don't have to do it all at the same time. Everything is a slow process. Just take your time. All right, and here's the third major aspect of growing your power. It's going to be your research center. Now, a lot of people I noticed ignore this for some reason, and they don't keep up to date with it as much as you should be. I get it. There's probably other places you're just prioritizing, but at some point, you have to, depending on whatever unit you're specializing in, you gotta be keeping up to date with your main unit. Say for example, I'm shooter, right? So I would go down one branch until I hit shooter attack, max that, go down a singular branch, max out shooter defense, and then get, like I said before, troop size is really important. So you max that for sure, go down shooter HP, and you keep going all the way down until you reach the end, like I did here. I just ignore vehicles. They don't do anything for me. You see, my shooter HP and attack 5 and defense 5 is caught up. So my military category, I deem it finished for now, because I will end up researching other areas as well. But for now, it's finished. Now, military is one thing, but most of us in APX have reached HQ 30, all right? What I told you guys just now is for a pre-HQ 30. At HQ 30, you'll be unlocking military too. If you want to grow your stats, you have to be keeping up with this. These stats here that you obtain from these is not a joke. This thing can seriously make a tier 10 feel like a tier 11 at some point. So at HQ 33, these things, if you have shooter damage boost or fighter damage boost or rider damage boost up to 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, whatever it is, you'll be hitting as hard as a tier 11 who's average, an average tier 11 who's not as like optimized as me or you guys, the people I've just taught. Like their gears are whack, their chips are whack, everything is whack. So you gotta make sure your research tech is really good. Like power is not the only thing that comes from the research center. Like keep in mind, like unit tactics, this is even more power. Like fighter bash, if you're a fireman, you have fighter bash, you can actually skip a layer and a half just off of this. This is an insane research tech for fighters. Dodge just makes you survive more because shooters actually have the lowest health points and defense in the game. And economy, this explains itself. If you want to gather faster, make sure you're up to date with this. This is for defensive. The defensive side of the game. I don't really touch on this all too much, but it is good. Don't get me wrong. You want your defenses up. Formations, I'm gonna be honest. This is for fighters. Fighters are okay because they get the fighter formation. The game is automatically fighters first. But if you do want to get stronger, you want to reach the shooter or the rider formation at some point, because that means your what is it called, your troop set, or whenever you send your troops out to raid or attack, your shooters are always going to be the first one that goes in, so they get the first dibs on damage. So it's a lot of resources though, so it's a commitment to get these. That's why I'm not even finished with these yet. And I mean, development has explained itself too. All of this is really useful. You want to make sure you catch up with this, especially the military and military too. Alright, and then I'm not even sure if this is the third or fourth one, but the next one is nanoweapons. Nanoweapons are, honestly, I'd say that they're the second most impactful part of the game. But the major downside to nanoweapons is that they're very, very luck based. You can either spend a lot of money on it, or you can roll once a day and happen to get 3 apexes for some reason, and it all comes down to luck. I've been playing for a year. I've got 3 Apexes and all this, and it's been 3 or 4 months now since I've been trying to get a purple uncommon Deathclaw. It still hasn't happened. So, like I said, it's all about luck. You want your nano weapons to be evenly upgraded, mainly because they're passive, and that term just again essentially means they work as soon as they're equipped. You have to equip them for them to work. But once you have them equipped, they don't have to be in any formation. Don't worry about that. You should be good. Like the damage boost and everything should go through. But you should really try every day, at least on nano weapon day, to craft and use insta crafts at some point, because if you're a type of player that is settling for all blues, okay, look at this, right? Let me find a good example here. So a purple or a uncommon dual tattoos, a blue one, gives you 10% damage boost if you have Tomoyo at +4. Let's say you move up, you finally got the rare variant, right? That's a 30% increase in damage just off of that, and it gets even crazier. It's a 60% increase when you move up. Like you gotta make sure, like you try to. It's luck based. You don't have to like. I don't recommend if you're not the type of person to spend. I wouldn't actually do anything that involves nano weapon prioritization, because if you start prioritizing this and knowingly that you don't spend as much, you're gonna be here for a long time. I don't recommend, because you can get stronger elsewhere. I've taught players like Eleanor, who's really strong elsewhere, and he doesn't have that many great nano weapons. It's all about just these things take patience. I mean, I have a problem with fucking just buying a shit ton of spending a stupid amount of money to get these, and I still haven't gotten the last purple, so there you go. Anyways, yeah, just make sure you get this overweight. Oh, also, depending on your whatever units you're specializing in, there's only 3 weapons that give pure stats, and that's gonna be the top 3 up here. The Fist, which gives pure rider damage stats, the Thunderhammer pure fighter stats, and the Incinerator for Phoenix, the pure shooter stats. Everything else is troop stats, which is again stats that it improves all types of units. You can see here everything troop attack, troop, everything is troop. It's only 3 nano weapons that give that, okay? That give those pure stats. Refinements are essentially really, they're also troop buffs, okay? You want them to be evened. So for the gear refinements, the chip refinements, and the module refinements, and the cube refinements, you want them upgraded pretty evenly. You also find that the module will halt at level 8, mainly because you have to unlock Headquarters Series 3. That's fine, don't worry about it after a while. Your cubes, your chips, and your gears at some point have to be evened up. Say for example, you can prioritize your gear refinement until it's level 15, right? And then after that, you would ignore this and get this chip refinement to 15, get your cube to 15, and if you're HQ 33, get this to as high as it possibly can, the module refinements. Now, people have asked me, what's the most important refinement? The most important one, the one that you should prioritize the most, and the one you should upgrade as soon as you're able to, is your glory refinements. The reason for this is it's one of the very, very few aspects of the game where it gives a pure damage increase. Anytime you see like damage up or damage taken down, that is a based damage or a based defense going up. This is like the rawest form of damage going up. So that's why it's really important you prioritize glory refinements first out of any. It takes a lot. Yeah, this is the reason why I'm still at level 8, and some of you may find yourself still at level 6 or 7, is because it's meant to be that way. This is a very good upgrade. So Make sure you keep up with that. But other than that, that's about it for refinements. Just keep your main 4 pretty even, and your your glory level, or not your glory, your glory refinement higher, or as high as it possibly can go. All right, we're gonna talk about Nova now. Nova is, I'd say it's a pretty damn big aspect, impactful part of the game, for your power at least. Now, upgrading them is pretty simple, okay? It just depends on whatever unit you're specializing in. I do recommend keeping a ratio of like, I'm trying to think. Make sure they have like a pretty close gap between each other, between the troop size and your main specialized unit. Mainly, I recommend, or at least for me, I prefer to keep my troop size. I maxed my troop size first, but I kept my troop size at least like 3 to 4 ahead of my shooter attack. Mainly because troop size, in my opinion, is much more important, because you got to think of your troop size as a glass cup. If your glass cup is bigger, you're able to hold much more water. Now, if your troop size is bigger, you're able to hold much more power, because all the stats, all the upgrades you've upgraded via gears, chips, modules, and nanoweapons, etc., all that. At some point, if your troop size isn't high, you're gonna be bottlenecked. That's why you want you want your troop size high, so you have more room to play with your power. As for health and stuff, I don't really focus on it that much. It depends on your own prioritization, but at some point I found it better to just upgrade my troop attack. But what is it called? The main 3 is honestly troop size, your main unit attack, and troop attack. Other than that, it's gonna be a long time until some of you will actually unlock this. When you do unlock it, you can reset troop attack and try to even it out, because this is, like I said, damage boost. Anything with damage, that's a raw form of damage increase. So try to keep that leveled. It costs a lot though. That's all I'm saying. All right, and for economy, honestly, I say it's whatever you want. You can go with the cap route, where you reset them and max one out for a particular day of the event. So say, for example, it's gathering day and you're going to be farming food or something. You can reset just enough until you can max out food gathering level 18 and resource gathering both to level 30. So that's his strategy. It does work really well. It's just you just have to make sure that you have enough alliance coins, because these only come in alliance shop. So that's about it for the Nova section. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Bioenhancers. Bioenhancers are new to the game recently. I think it's only like 2 weeks old. It's honestly has become one of the major factors of power, mainly because it's easy to get. Free-to-play players can obtain it too. It's not that hard. You just gotta make sure you go into your campaign right here, and there's like a prison trial above ultimate trial. You gotta do that every time it resets, because if you don't, you're missing out on a lot of power. You want to try your best to keep... What the fuck did I just click? Oh, right here. Yeah, prison trial right here. You want to make sure you do this from time to time. It's not active right now. It does not reset. It has like a timer at the bottom, so just keep watching that. It's one of the ways to get Bioenhancers. Now, Bioenhancers, honestly, you just gotta click on them. I don't really know them all too well yet. I'm not gonna talk about this part all too much, mainly because I don't know shit about it still. But the best way possible. The only thing I can tell you is do not enhance. Actually, you can enhance. No, I'm sorry. If you have a green or a blue, just enhance them. Mainly because you can reset them right here. If you click on these individually, you can just reset them and get everything back. See? So you can reset them if you like. There's no harm in doing that. You're gonna have to play around with it. So for shooters, I know for sure that I'd have to focus on the muscle enhancer, which is this, and the lung enhancer, mainly because it's, you know, it gives me, I'm a shooter, I want shooter attack, that's why. But that's not to say everything is useless though. They're all actually pretty important. I just happen to prioritize the one that had damage more. So other than that, there's really, I'm not gonna speak too much about Bioenhancers because it's like a whole different video, but this is about it. You just gotta make sure you click on this and find the one that matches your style. So look, oh, blood vessel fighter attack, eye enhancer rider attack. So yeah, it's like something like that. All right. Next up is modifiers, gear and chip modifiers, another new part of the game. I personally don't like gear modifiers that much. I'm gonna say it now. They are both pay to win. Right? They are pay to win. I wanted to believe the chips weren't pay to win, but I don't want to lie to you guys. It is pay to win. This thing, you're able to buy chip modifiers in the ruins if you reach a certain point. If you didn't, then you're screwed. You're not gonna be able to, because these are probably the only way you get them free. Otherwise, there's no other way. At least no other way I can think of. But my suggestion is, when you start working on modifiers, you want to make sure they're at least all modification level 3 here, so they at least unlock troop defense 30%. Because, you know, you want to have like a goal to keep them even. That's what I did. That's why they're bulky like this, right? You want to keep them all even, and then after you keep them all even, you would bring the first one up about like 2 to 3 notches, and then after that, that's when you make everything up too. So it's very luck based. As you can see here, like to get to level 4, I would need, it's like a 60% success rate down here. It costs 100 every time, so it costs a lot of money. And for this, I want to say it's easier to do than the chip modifiers, now that I've experienced chip modifiers a lot more. The modified, you know, when you get the modifiers, it's really easy to get these down. The only thing you have to look out for, so when you first start out modifying, you want to click the modify button, and depending on how much you have, just re-modify until you find your what is it, your main unit attack thing. So I waited until I had shooter attack, so that's why I have shooter attack level 5 here, or 5-star shooter attack. You want to find that and stop at maybe 4 stars. Don't try to aim for 5 stars. That actually does cost a lot of money, but I'll teach you how to get 5 stars. So if you're just like, you have an empty slot, you don't unlock a single slot, you're just still doing it, even if you see your main unit, you know, like your main preferred stat type, just keep remodifying until it hits 4 stars, because it only costs like 5 or something, right, to like keep remodifying. And then once you find the one you like, click replace, and then you would remodify again until you find something you like. You know, it's like, what I did was, I first found a shooter attack that's 3 stars, and then I replaced it, and then I remodified it until I found a 5-star or 4-star shooter attack. You know, you want to keep going like that, because the gear modifiers, although they're very luck based, they also make it less or more forgiving than the chip modifiers, because the chip modifiers, once you use up 100 of these, you're fucked. You gotta buy more. With these, you get 5 and you get many chances, and you get to choose when you replace your modified stats. So that's what I like about it. So essentially, that's how you go about it. See, like I said, since I'm shooter, all my gears are modified with shooter attack to some extent. So see, so that's honestly, like, it's pretty easy at that point. But that's like the simple version of how to do the modified stuff. That's about it for all the features of the games that you can grow your power in. It's just, as the higher you up, you just gotta make sure you upkeep those things. Don't feel too overwhelmed or stressed now. Just focus at it like 1 or 2 at a time. Don't go too crazy on it.